What's up, my friends, and welcome into today's episode. I'm so glad that you found us. Today's a little different. We found the wrong Sciarappa today. Nick Sciarappa is joining us instead of his brother. We have a blast. He is really good at the game that we are going to play today called Freestyle Preaching. We're also going to talk about the story of the dry bones in Ezekiel, and talk a little bit about him being a new dad and a couple other little anecdotes. I hope that you enjoy today's show. If you do, please hit subscribe. We have a huge group of new listeners from some advertisements we've been doing, and our YouTube channel is growing. So thank you to everybody who is new right now, especially in this Lenten season. We hope that you are listening to this as part of your Lenten penance. We've actually heard a lot of people say that they're doing that, and we're very happy about that. We're glad that you are here. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the subscribe button, whether you are listening anywhere on podcasts or especially on our YouTube channel. Guys, we are closing in on about 800 subscribers. We have had this goal of hitting 1,000 for a while. So if you are not yet subscribed on our YouTube channel, even if you're listening on the podcast, please go over to youtube.com/Forte Catholic or just type in Forte Catholic on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Please enjoy today's show. What's up? And welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll. That is Father Anthony Sciarappa. Father Anthony, how you doing today, buddy?
No, I'm actually not Father Anthony.
Wait, what? Where's Anthony?
I don't know. I don't know where my brother is. I'm Father Anthony's brother. You can tell by my receding hairline, not my gorgeous hair.
Oh, wow. That's weird that the one with beautiful hair is single and the one with the receding hairline is married.
Don't even get me started, man. It's what yes, it is weird. We'll just leave it there.
So I scheduled this with Father Anthony, and then you're just here. So what did you do with him? Is he okay?
Next question.
Oh, okay. So you're Nick Sciarappa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We've gone back and forth being producers of, I produce this show. You produce Lyrically Speaking. We've shared stuff. We've hung out. We've done stuff together. But I've never had you as a co-host. And we're going through this it's even more confusing now. Everybody knows we have 4 rotating co-hosts where they do every month.
Right.
Well, one of them's tired of me, so we're doing a rotating group of co-hosts. So I still have the regular 3, but every month, every 4 weeks, we have a rotating group. So
that's why I'm here. Great.
Yeah, it's like the Catholic Church. Like whenever things get complicated, we make them more complicated and hope that people like them.
Oh man, that hit real in my heart. It's just like, we'll have someone like start all these ministries, then we'll transfer them.
Right.
Big sad.
And how does that make you feel?
Pretty sad all the time. I guess I'll have to change jobs again. They always say work for who you know in the Catholic Church, not for a particular place.
Yeah. You know what you could do?
What?
Quit and work for yourself. That's what I did.
Oh man. I don't have the guts. I have to have those. I got to put in my time first. John keeps telling me the same thing. Yeah, work for yourself one day. I'm like, no, I put in my years at the diocese. I'm putting my years in at the parishes. And then once I start, when my heart for the parish crud and messiness, I don't want to agape that anymore. I don't want to love that anymore. I'll leave. I'll work for like a cable company. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, that's what I did. My heart just got stomped on and crushed for so long.
Isn't that what
I
it
was
is?
Like, I gotta leave.
That's ministry. You give your heart to people. People stomp all over it. You give that heart to Jesus. Jesus fixes your heart so that you can give that heart back to people so that they can just stomp all over it and take a big dump on it. And then you give it back to Jesus and he takes the poop off.
Yeah, exactly. Man, this is supposed to be the joyful show and we are super sad already. So to bring us to some happiness, first, like we got, I mean, you have some relatively new news. I mean, not really, but you are a new father. The baby is out. It did its 9 months of time and the baby's now out of jail. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. It's really neat. Someone told me this right before that moment happened. They said, Nick, you want some advice? I'm like, Sure.
Not
Everyone's
really,
getting their
but you're gonna give
unsolicited.
it to
Yeah,
me anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
He said, "You only have one job now." And I thought I knew where he was going. I thought he was going to say, your church job doesn't matter as much. Your one job is to be a dad. But he said this. He goes, "Your one job is to love your daughter in such a way that she will have a fighting chance of understanding who God the Father is and how he loves." And I was like, okay, I'll try my best. It was so beautiful. I'm like, oh no.
I'm gonna give you. It's not advice. I'm just gonna give you. I'm gonna give you some hope because
Sounds
you
like
know
advice.
I'm gonna give you some hope. You know who I am.
Yes, I
It's
do.
not advice at all. It's not advice at all.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
hope.
Yeah.
Hope. You know who I am, Nick. You know my good qualities and most of my bad ones.
Sure.
My kids are with my parents. We're recording this in spring break. My kids are with my parents, and every night my mom's just like, your kids are so well adjusted. They're behaving so well.
That's great.
They're so loving and all this stuff. And that's despite who I am as a human being, Nick. So that guy tried to put so much pressure on you. And I'm just here to tell you, to give you hope. Like, you're gonna do it, man. Like, you're gonna do it. Like,
It's gonna
despite
happen.
me, my kids are great. And you're a good person with some flaws, just like me. You just have less
Relatively
flaws than me.
reasonable. Oh, geez, Taylor.
I mean, you're gonna be great. So you know, 7 years from now, you'll be on your spring break, and just like me, you're so happy to have that baby in your house right now, and I'm so happy that all 3 of mine are gone right now. So in 7 years, you'll look back on this moment and be like, Taylor was right. My kid's awesome, and I'm doing a good job. Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Very cool.
Well, just remind me of that every once in a while, would you? Give me a call.
I will give you a call, and I'll just send you the link to this episode over and over again. Got to get those numbers up somehow, and if it's the only encouragement you get as a dad, you can find it here, Nick.
Fantastic.
Part of my chair just fell apart. This is just for the video listeners. This is part of my chair arm. I got to get that. Don't worry, it's got a lifetime warranty.
It's okay. We're on like a card table right now. If I can shake it, and it would just all fall down. And the chair I'm just sitting in church furniture.
That's why it's crappy.
Yeah. It's like worse than IKEA because it was made in the 70s and we haven't replaced it.
There's one of the youth come in and put a little tick mark into the leg every time, just knowing that one day someone heavy enough will sit in it and it'll break in half.
That man is me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so not only are you a new dad, but you got told that you only have one job now. But I know that you have multiple jobs. I know that you are a youth minister at a parish. I know that you used to work at the diocese.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that you're the producer for Clerically Speaking, because that's how you got like the producer Nick title, which I mean, Clerically Speaking stole from my show because we had producer Sam first, and then
we did.
I just stole producer Nick.
We did,
and then made it way more popular. But you have other jobs. You have other little odd jobs because you are a very talented human being. What are some of these other odd jobs that you do? Because we all know, I mean, it's just obvious. It's nothing personal, but like the story of the rich young man isn't really about you. Because you went to church.
Other odd jobs. I mean, I also edit the Daughters Project podcast.
You audit the Daughters? What a jerk!
Oh no, I'm gonna have to be on my game, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what this podcast is about. Yeah. So I do that. Oh my gosh, I'll do any kind of freelance video work. I'll take pictures at Catholic schools that have ended up on billboards of kids studying or like playing in the playground or something like that. So I've done that. I also I help record videos in an HGTV before and after style of kitchens and baths for some association of something kitchen and baths. So
you know what you should do.
Right.
You told me that one, and that's the one that I was really interested in because, like, I saw the movie Click, and like Bed Bath & Beyond is the coolest place in the world.
Oh yeah.
But what I would like for you to do is to combine some of these jobs, which I know that you've done. You've combined your skills. You know, we've seen your editing skills at your youth group, and how the ridiculous promo videos with like laser cat eyes and stuff. But what I need for you to do, you were telling me about this Bed Bath & Beyond thing with the before and after.
Yeah.
And what I want you to do is in ministry, like take it, when you're taking pictures of the kids just at at ministry stuff,
Yeah.
just don't tell them if it's the before or the after. Like you're not sure if they're done yet, or like a kid comes off a retreat and they're on that retreat high, and you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
honey, this is still the before picture. Like you need a lot of work.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, dude, I have an Instagram account for the youth ministry, and a lot of those teens have graduated and they go off to college, and they're talking about getting your heart broken over and over in ministry. You'll see them like in this one
I tried to
picture
pivot
where
away
they're
from
like,
that.
what's that?
I tried to pivot away from that. You brought it right back.
I sure did. I sure did. I just go where the content leads me. So there's a picture of them smiling, holding a Bible in one picture. And then like a few years down the road, it's just like them with that awkward college picture where they're definitely holding something behind their back. And it's a beer bottle. It's like, don't post the picture. Don't post it. Your parents know, your youth minister knows, everyone knows. Don't post you look more intoxicated than you think. So
right.
Yeah, there's the before and afters. There's every time, all the time.
Well, you told me not to give you advice, but then you gave me advice telling me that I look more intoxicated than I think.
Whenever you feel like a little whatever and someone wants to take a picture, just don't. Your eyes are already sleepy.
Or
Guaranteed.
you know what? Or what you could do, Nick, is just work for yourself and then it doesn't matter anymore.
That is true.
We're actually not releasing this. This is just an intervention for you to try to get a different job.
Yikes. I was going to say, is this whole podcast just going back to the first 30 seconds of our conversation over and over as many times as we can?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Father Anthony is actually here. That wasn't just a gag. Like all of your friends and family are here. They're all listening and watching in, and they're all going to appear in here just a few minutes. There's a banner that says intervention that's going to come up behind you. It's going to be misspelled.
I think I'm sick that day. Nope.
Okay, so one of the other things that you are known for is spicy takes. We don't call them hot, we call them spicy for you. Ooh. And the difference is, I'm not sure, but spicy just feels like a better word for Nick Sciarappa.
Thank you.
We just want the people to get to know you. Like usually you're the person behind the computer and not in front of the mic, right? Like obviously at your job, there's like 8 kids there or something that see you talking in front of a mic, but for everybody else, like you're the behind the scenes guy. But we want to put you front and center here. Like clerically speaking doesn't put you front and center. You have to butt in if you want to talk. We're going to let you talk during the whole hour. So I want you to share some of your spiciest takes about life, about the church, about ministry, and hopefully we won't be depressed like we were at the beginning of the show.
Okay, I'll try to keep them light then. I'll try to keep them light. Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead. And I'm just going to react to them. We'll see how this goes.
The first take is this. People read at Mass, the lectors read St. Paul terribly. And here's what I mean. Like, imagine St. Paul trying to inspire thousands and thousands of people in the city. And people read the readings like this. A reading from a letter from St. Paul to the Ephesians. Brothers and sisters.
Bro,
I'm thinking to myself,
you just hit play on the Hallow app. That's put me to sleep.
I have this feeling that St. Paul was like fired up. I'm like, you don't have to be too charismatic, but please don't rock me to sleep. Oh, I just get bummed. His words are so cool.
And then Jesus said, "You brood of vipers."
Yeah, love is patient. I think he's fired up about that. He really wants you to know. I think about the best.
Love is patient, you jerks. Love is kind. Why haven't you gotten this through your skulls?
Maybe there's a medium. Like there's somewhere in between those two. Like, is that how you do your public speaking, Taylor? I know. I hear you're very talented at it.
What I am now going to do is do the exact opposite of what I'm supposed to. So like the other day, I was leading a parish mission, and like I get really excited and animated during the talk, but then like a little bit, like we led Lectio Divina, so I was reading the scriptures more in like the prayerful thing that you are complaining about, which I think it's different times, different places. That's fine. I'm totally with you in Mass, but like when I'm reading something, trying to be prayerful, we all have that prayer voice, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give a 45-minute talk in prayer voice, and then I'm going to yell the prayers. That's my response to how this is going to go.
Let me know what mission that is, and then we'll I'll not be there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, we'll see if I get invited back for that one. I think you're right. I just think you haven't gone far enough. I don't think it's just St. Paul. I think it's all of it.
Oh, sure.
I think they're like
Sure.
a reading from the book of Deuteronomy. Thou shalt not castrate thine one's own self, but thou should do it for thine children. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's not very peaceful, I mean, and I don't need like full theatrics, but maybe that adult who does community theater can also just do some readings.
So here's my issue, Nick. I have actually struggled with this as somebody. I've been a lector before,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
because I'm a relatively good orator,
Mhm.
the struggle that I have is like how it is now is that people read the way that you said, and it's just
Right.
completely just blah 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 blah, just laissez-faire, right? Um, but when I go up, I feel like I'm attracting, because I'm doing it well, I feel like I'm attracting more attention to myself than the reading that I am giving, right? And I don't think that would be the case if the other readers
The
were
same thing.
orating well, right? So it
Yeah.
is this weird balance for me where like if somebody goes up and does it correctly, it's
Yeah.
almost distracting because it's so different from what we're used to. Does that
So
make sense?
if you were in someone's backyard and there were a bunch of piles of dog poop everywhere, but one of them was gold, you'd be attracted to the gold one.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, where'd that gold pile of dog poop come from?
Right.
But wouldn't it be great if dogs just pooped rainbows and gold all the time?
I would finally allow my kids to have an animal.
How am I good at analogies? Am I
Uh,
good at that?
Next question.
Oh no.
And next take.
Okay, next take. We need more dubstep from like the early 60s Catholic church music. So can I give you an example?
Wait,
Like it like
yeah, I think I'm gonna need an example because I
yeah,
have no
like
idea what you just said.
so for Eagle's Wings would be like, and hold you in the palm, and then it would go whoop 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 of his hands. And
Yeah.
like just like the ceiling's coming down, man. I just think that'd be great. I just want more like in the club music where you're like, am I listening to Eagles Wings? Like you're in the club, you have the beer bottle in your hand because you don't know how to dance without it because you're kind of lame, and like this soprano or alto singing, you who dwell in the, and like it's just slight techno kind of feel, and then it just the beat drops, boom. I want that with more
So
more
I,
songs.
I have oscillated back and forth since you started talking about how I feel about this take. Are you saying that this should be used in mass or
No,
for
super
light?
no.
Okay. For light
It's like-
reading, this sounds perfect for like a youth group. Like honestly, I feel like this Jay Martin and you should combine, and y'all should make this music and play it for youth.
No,
group.
bring it into the club, Taylor. Like people will be like, I don't know this song, but it's talking about Eagles Wings. I just want to fly away, and then they look it up, and then they're even more confused. This is just for my entertainment.
Okay, cool. So you're saying for the club. I think it would be perfect for like welcome music for like a youth event. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it
like they
would.
know it and they usually hate those songs. But like, honestly, I think they're just as sacrilegious as they were originally written. So
Yeah, that's probably
Do you
true.
remember like right when we met? It was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh,
I
geez,
did a
no.
rant about Eagles Wings.
Did
And
you?
because I did it on the show, and then I think I actually talked to you and your brother about it, or he told you about it or something. But I was the music director at a parish, and we sang up in the choir loft. And the
Right.
Eagles Wings always the opening song for funerals, like 99% of the time.
Yep.
So and like you don't say welcome to mass or whatever. You know, we're glad that you're here. Like we're not glad that you're here. Everybody's sad, right? So you just start mass, right?
Yeah.
So literally the first things that I say is yoo-hoo. It's like yoo-hoo. We're starting mass now for the funeral of your loved one.
Or it's just like an advertisement for chocolate milk.
Right, exactly. So you made, I talked about it, and you put my body riding on an eagle, like in Lord of the Rings.
I do remember
on
that.
a yoo-hoo, like it's when we became friends. That was the moment.
Yeah, I decided to shoot my shot in friendship, and I think it worked.
I shoot the shot. Brr, 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 brr. Coming in hot. That was a dubstep for you. That's all that was for.
Yeah, it was good.
The other thing, what was the other thing I was going to say about dubstep and Eagles Wings? I don't remember. Okay, next take.
Okay, next take would be this. The clergy underestimate the obligation in regards to getting people to come to events?
You underestimate my power. What? Say it again. I don't understand what you just.
Okay.
I literally just started. You said you underestimate, and I was in Star Wars. I didn't hear the rest
Fantastic.
of what you said.
I don't even know if that was that clear anyway, if you were listening. Okay, so the clergy are used to this obligation. People just show up for events. When lay people put on events, especially in the Catholic Church, people do not just show up, and a lot of work goes into it. That's my
Yes.
spicy take. So I guess
I don't think that's spicy at all. I think that's how churches work now.
well, maybe can I try to spice it up?
Sure.
If clergy tried to take a lay person's job who puts on events, they would, the majority of them would fail.
Oh, 100%, because most of them are failing already, and they already have the collar.
Oh no!
See, you tried to go spicy, and I'm just like, we're naming names.
Yeah,
that's what I thought you were gonna say. Like, I'm gonna get spicy. Our associate pastor, Father Jim, is not good at events.
Yeah, but like, if Father whoever puts on an event and they have a collar, people show up. Why? Because they have this. They have the collar. And then, when you're a new youth minister or a new director of evangelization and you're there for only 3 months and you're expected to pack the house for an event, you probably won't. It takes a long time to do that. And I just hear stories of people getting fired from their jobs because after like 2 or 3 months, they don't have massive numbers at their events. And it makes me sad because it takes 2 or 3 years.
It really does. And what's the average time for a youth minister to parish? 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, isn't it like 2 years max? I'm in my third.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
No. But my pastor really loves Jesus, and he lets me do fun things with the teens, and we pray a lot. Come on, I want to stay.
That's okay. You can stay for a little while.
Thanks.
All right, that's our time for that segment. I'm sure you have 1,000 more spicy takes. They were good. I like that.
Okay, cool.
Good
I'm glad.
conversation starters.
I pivoted halfway through because I wanted to do happier takes for you.
Okay, okay. Do one of your sad ones. We'll end with one of your sad ones.
Sad? No, I prepared those 3. I don't remember. No.
I caught you in a lie. Okay, good. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at the Grotto Network. They are a ministry out of the University of Notre Dame, and then they are a platform online that shares stories to inspire our generation, whether you are a fallen away Catholic or a daily mass goer. They provide all kinds of stuff in their posts that will help you navigate our crazy lives with everything from dealing with infertility to praying in an art museum. I went to an art museum once. I saw a photograph of a trash bag. I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Wouldn't be able to pray with that. But, most of the rest of the art is good. With everything from finding sustainable food to appreciating college football, dating advice to finding purposeful work. You can also newly check out their podcast called Good and Decent. The stories take you around the world to listen to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We're just ordinary people. They raise big questions with interesting people, from a Harvard cosmologist to a monk who lived with Thomas Merton in Kentucky. It's always weird to me that Thomas Merton's from Kentucky. Like, what good comes out of Kentucky? Sorry to our Kentucky listeners. And a priest on safari to guys who compete in air guitar competitions. You can find the Good and Decent podcast wherever you are listening right now. And go follow Grotto Network on all of their social channels, especially Instagram. Do it! Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is Nicholas Dwayne Sciarappa. Welcome back, Nicholas.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
It's actually The Rock. Nicholas The Rock Sciarappa.
I apologize. I forgot it changed.
It makes sense that you forgot.
90s.
It makes sense.
It does. Okay, so we're going to play a game that, let's just be honest, most of my co-hosts think they're good at, but I reign supreme.
I'm sure you do. You're a talented guy. You are.
Thank you. But I'm not. And I've told people this before. If you only do what you're good at, it makes you look like you're good at everything.
Yeah.
So if I make up the games, I'm not going to make up a game that I'm bad at. The only game I've ever been bad at is the game that your brother made up for me that he makes me play.
Wow. I don't know. Just pour into your talents. That's what we're supposed to do.
We're going to try. But I think you can give me a run for my money.
I'll try.
This game is called Freestyle Preaching. And I think the only reason that I'm good at it is because I've been giving talks to teens for over a decade. And
Yes.
you too have been, your time's coming soon. You're going to quit soon. But, you have been giving talks to teens for quite some time now. And I feel like just your style and your humor and all the youth minister skills will match up. So how this game works, for those of you listening who may have not heard it in a while, because we have shelved it for a while because I just wiped the floor with all my co-hosts with it. So especially the priest. He doesn't know how to preach. So what we're going to do is we've proved that so many times with this game, with sharing YouTube videos of his homilies. It's all good. We all know who's the best preacher here, and it's me, but it might be you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take turns giving each other 3 words, and with no prep time whatsoever, because that's how youth ministry works. No prep time whatsoever, whether by choice or not by choice. I have had weeks to prepare a talk that I made up on the spot. I've also been like, hey, can you give a talk on the Trinity? Because we forgot to ask someone. Yep. When is it? Right now. You got 10 minutes. Man. Okay.
It's a thrill. It's a thrill.
Yeah. It's so much fun. So that essentially we're in that position where you have to take all your prior knowledge, and we're gonna take turns giving each other 3 words that we have to incorporate into a hard-hitting, real 60-second sermon, 60-second message. It's like the Instagram Reels, the TikTok message, right? We're not preaching for 15 minutes. It's 60 seconds, and you have to incorporate those 3 words. Would you like to give me the 3 words first, or would you like to go first?
Oh, I'd love to see you do your thing. So can I give you the 3 words first?
Yes, you sure can. Please. I'm going to write them down to make sure that I do not forget them.
The first word is fire hydrant. The second word is wheelchair. And the third word is sardines.
All right, here we go. I got to start the clock. Oh, that's not going to work because I have the other clock. Here we go. 3:12. Ready, set, go. So we were talking earlier about how priests can get people to events. Like they can pack them in, just like sardines. Like there's so many people, whatever, the priests bring people in. But a lot of times we're not, our priests, our pastors, and even us as youth ministers can be so focused on catechesis and like trying to teach the stuff that we just learned this week. But like we really have to evangelize first. We have to go back to like the basic message of the gospel, because so often we're it's like, we just have a fire hose connected to a fire hydrant. We're just like, enjoy all the Jesus and all the grace, But like if we do that, like there are going to be some kids, some people that can do that, but there are going to be other people that get hit by that and it's just too much water. They're going to break their leg and have to be in a wheelchair for a few weeks. So what we need to do is we need to set up a couple of different ministries. Number one, we have to remember to evangelize. That's what the church exists to do. And then secondly, we need to have something else where we can deeply catechize the people who are ready to drink from the fire hydrant. We have to have something there for them as well. That is my time.
Wonderful. Watching that was a lot of fun.
Okay, good.
I really hope I can get there. That's hard. Did you do like improv stuff in high school or something like that? Or
no, I have a podcast.
Okay, that makes sense. That's why I produce, man. That's why I produce.
Yeah. Your produced intros to segments is better than anything I've ever done on this show.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, I'm gonna give you some relatively easy ones. Some that should be in your wheelhouse. So
okay.
Cough drops, because I'm staring at them. I'm like Brick. Are you just picking things out of the room and saying you love them? Yes, I am. Cough drops, camera, and balding.
Why is that last one in there?
Well, I don't know. Have you looked in the camera recently?
I am aware of the fact that my hair is thinning. Okay. All right.
3,
I'm ready.
2, and 1.
So often we can base our identity off of the way that we look, and we think and that's harmful, because we can be too harsh on ourselves. We can say, I'm not good enough. I can't sing well enough. I can't do any of the things that I want to do in my life. And I compare myself to other people. And then you start doing all kinds of different drugs. Like if you can't sing well enough, you're like, maybe if I take 1,000 cough drops, I can sing better. Or maybe like if I'm auditioning for something, or trying to record myself on a podcast. Like maybe if I could just tilt the camera in such an angle you wouldn't see the chins underneath me, or maybe if I just put some kind of hair something or other, some lasers in my hair, that my hair would grow and I would stop balding. But we need to stop placing our identities in the things of the world. We need to place our identities in Jesus Christ. He says it very simply, that we are his children, that we are the children of God the Father. That's where we get our identity. That's where we get our strength, not from our looks, not from our appearance, and not from our ability. Taylor, is that 60 seconds?
Yeah, it was great. It was about 70. You went a little over. You gave us a little bonus. I'm happy with it, man.
I could have landed the plane a little earlier. I should set a timer next time. That was fun.
It was good. You're very good at this. Wow. I feel like I finally have a challenger.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Okay, next three for me, please, sir.
Okay, so the next one, I'm gonna
also I meant to respond. One, lasers coming out of your head. It was a hilarious image.
Oh, I was thinking the caps that they put on your head that actually shine.
Thinking, but like,
yeah, I almost
sometimes you say things.
Yeah,
the other thing is that you said that sucking on cough drops was drugs, which was hilarious.
I did that on purpose. I went for the laughs, man.
That was funny. That was good. Okay, my 3 words, please, sir.
So your 3 words are coagulation, cheese, dolphins.
Okay, dolphins.
This would be hard. I wouldn't know what to do with it. So
I'm picking up right where you left off. So you were just talking about identity. And like, I mean, sometimes you can even look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I kind of look like a dolphin with the amount of hair that I have on my head, like the big old forehead. But God loves us so much. He loves us so much. Amen. That, he knew that being bald was going to be humiliating for the both of us, but he took on that humiliation on the cross. He died for us. He was scourged and stripped and beaten and mocked and humiliated, just like we were all growing up when we started balding at the age of 15. But like, he shed his blood for us. That blood hit the ground, coagulated, but our redemption is found in that coagulated blood. So if we would like to, like, our only response to Jesus is to receive him, body, blood, soul, and divinity. Me, I like having just a little bit of cheese with the wafer. It really brings out the flavor. And that's my time.
No. Okay. So here's the arc. You started off the first thing about the dolphin. That was okay. But the second part was just supreme. Like people talk about being washed in the blood of Jesus, but like you added the adjective of coagulate. That's just, it's so irreverent and very funny.
I wasn't quite sure what that word meant, so I was like, I think blood coagulates.
It does. It does. It's when something goes from a liquid to like a solid. It's actually where it's used the most, is in blood. So
okay, good. Well, I got that right. That was the big worry I had going in. I said, you know what? I could ask or look it up, but I'm just going to confidently go where I think this word means.
It would be even better if you used it in a terrible context. It didn't make sense.
Oh, like saying you're putting cheese on the body of Christ, something like that. Something along those lines, accidentally. Okay. Your 3 words, sir.
Okay.
Are router, like as in a Wi-Fi router, air purifier, and baby. On your mark.
I'm just spraying it.
Get set. Okay. Go.
Met this teen named Johnny, and he was very inappropriate all the time. He would make jokes like, I'd be like, hey, go plug in that router. And he'd be like, router? I hardly know her. I'm like, Johnny, we need to purify the things that we say. The air that comes out of our mouth must be clean as if it just came out of an air freshener. The words we say impact people. Just think, Johnny, when you're a father one day and you're looking down upon your baby, what do you want that baby to know? What do you want that baby to learn? Do you want that baby to just look and make jokes like you do for laughs? Or do you want that baby to be heroic and to grow up and be a disciple? So watch your language, Johnny, you jerk. Time.
We have never, it was very good. It was right under 60 seconds. Woo. We've never done this where it was like, it's always been a public sermon. This was like the one-on-one pulling a kid aside.
I was witnessing. Great. It's a witness talk, right? Yeah. Like, this thing happened to me.
Oh, I thought you were scolding Johnny. Like, I'm literally imagined you pulled him out of youth group and were talking to him in the hallway. That's 100% what just happened, Nick.
Yeah, just grabbed him by the hair.
Yeah. There have been times so one of the things that I have some problems with because I work with kids is
Mhm.
that my love language is physical touch, and that's a dangerous thing when you're not supposed to be touching people,
Yeah,
right?
shoulder hugs,
Um,
man.
right. So I'm not doing anything inappropriate, right? But like
Mhm.
sometimes it can become borderline. Like I'll have my hand on somebody's shoulder or whatever. I'll put my arm, like especially when I'm coaching. It's kind of different with coaching,
Makes
but
a
I'm also like a
connection. Yeah.
spiritual person in their life. Like I'll put my arm around them. Well, the other day we had a track meet, and this kid who's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kid,
Mhm.
always hardworking. Just for whatever reason, on his last race of the day, he didn't finish the race. He was running the 200 and he sprinted for about 185 meters, and then he pulled up and essentially, like, just kind of jogged out the rest of it, right? Because he didn't win. The guy, he got second. The guy that was in first got first. He was clearly in second. But it's like that's not how we coach and teach. It's like they have to finish the race, right? They have
Mhm.
to. It's all about time because we're not actually racing against these people at these meets. We're racing times against people in our district, right? So
Right.
I was frustrated with him, and so I grabbed his shoulder and I was like, "Why did you stop?" He's like, "I couldn't." And without even thinking, I had an empty little mini Gatorade bottle in my hand, and I popped him in the throat. And we were both shocked. He was like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But I was frustrated with him, and I'm like an older brother, and it was like I had my hand on him already, just a little quick pop, just like a parent does. So
Yeah.
that was kind of an interesting moment. So that's what I imagined. I imagined his name was Johnny.
When I was scolding Johnny. Wonderful.
Okay, so now it is your turn to give me 3 words. I think we're gonna do
Oh,
one more each.
fantastic. What okay, cool. Uh let's see. Let's do high chair, cheese puffs, toilets.
Toilets. All right, you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories in the Old Testament is about you're already making me laugh. It's about this Jewish leader who goes in. There's a guy named Eglon. He's so fat. He's sitting on the toilet. Like they said, he was like relieving himself in the cool chamber. Like I know a lot of wives like to say, like, "Oh, that's his high chair. That's his king's chair." So he was sitting on this toilet that was also named the high chair. You see what I did there? And the Jewish man walks in. He was the leader of the bad guys that were fighting against Israel. And he goes in and he stabbed him. And the Bible said that he was so fat that they couldn't even find the sword to be able to pull it back out. Like the dude had eaten a ton of cheese puffs. Like those ones that you buy for youth ministry that like you bought them 18 years ago and somehow there's still some left.
They're a little
Like
moist.
that's how fat this guy was. But like honestly, it teaches 2 things. One, that the Lord always takes care of his people, even if it's in weird ways. Like that's probably not the way that Israel thought they were going to get out of that. But 2, it teaches, here we are in the season of Lent. It teaches that we all need to, especially myself, need to stop eating so much. Otherwise, we'll end up like Eglon and dead on our high chair toilet.
Very good.
Thank you.
See, what I liked about that is like it sounded like a public speaker who was trying to be relatable, and so used the 3 things that I said to try to relate. And everyone's like, you could have just told the story, bro. You didn't have to use these terrible examples.
Yeah.
Like,
But you know what's funny though? Is like I feel like
Mm.
if you say what everybody else says, like people
Yeah.
just tune out in church. People are used to tuning out in church. But if I told that
Mhm.
story and I said things like high chair and toilet and cheese puffs, everybody'd be like, I'm gonna keep listening to this guy.
Yep, that's
just
true. There's
just
something about that.
to watch the train wreck. All right.
Indubitably.
You're gonna bring us home. You're gonna bring us home.
I'm
I
gonna do
might
my
crown you
best.
the champion. I might crown you the champion.
Wow.
All
Wow.
right.
I wouldn't do that if I was in charge of my own podcast. I would win every single time.
Like the flu. That's an inside joke for 8 people. Okay. Humility, victory, and podcast. Humility, victory, and podcast. Take us home, Nick Sciarappa. The clock starts now.
I think we all need to pray a bit more, but maybe this Lent, what all of us can do in order to prepare ourselves for the victory of Jesus Christ, dying and rising again, is to remember where we are supposed to be in our lives. We need to be more humble. And so I suggest to you today, my brothers and sisters, to pray the litany of humility, to pray the litany of humility every single day, so that when we go out into our lives, whether it be at home being a mom or a dad, whether it be working at a bank, whether it be doing anything, I don't know, something crazy like running like a podcast, that we may approach every single task we do as humble, good Christians.
It was really good, but I hate the litany of humility. So I didn't.
Oh, I do too, dude.
Yeah.
My spiritual director won't let me pray it because I'm pretty scrupulous and I'm, other issues. But like, yeah, that you got to be pretty crazy to do that.
Our issue is different. I'm just prideful. That was very good. For the first time ever, I am naming the co-host the victor. You did great.
Oh, no way.
Especially for your
I'm
first
so
try.
honored.
I mean, it was just absolutely tremendous. Very well done, Nick Sciarappa.
Thank
I'm
you.
so very proud of you.
I'm honored. I'd play that game anytime. That was thrilling.
That was a blast. You can steal it and play it with your youth group kids. Have them help you.
They could probably
I need 3
do a great
words.
job.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about the dry bones. Nick brought up Lent. We're going to keep talking about it. Don't go anywhere. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but Forte Catholic is growing and I need help. It's just been me for a long time, and I've had a couple of contractors doing some audio editing work for me as well. And one of those people graduates in May, and I want to bring him on at least part-time. So I mentioned the plea. If we need about $1,500 a month. We are a Catholic charity, a Catholic nonprofit. We do everything by your generous donations. So as I said, like it's essentially 15 people giving $100 a month, and we have our newest one. I should have pulled up his name. I really should have. But if you would like to become a donor, whether it's $100 a month, or if you can do $50, or if you can do, $1,000 a month because you're rich and listening to this for some reason, we could really use your help. I really want to hire this guy. It would make life a lot easier for me. I can focus on doing bigger and better things. And he can do he can take a lot of the audio and video work from me. So if you can, please be like our newest donor. His name is Michael. So thank you, Michael, and thank you to all of you who are already been donating for a while. But we're getting there. We're getting some traction. I need your help. We need your help. God needs your help with your pocketbooks. So fortecatholic.com/donate. I appreciate it. Y'all are the best. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Schroll, and that is not Father Anthony Sciarappa.
No way.
He was actually good at preaching. It's not the lack of collar or anything. It was just seeing the good preaching in the last segment. All right, so he's gonna. I love saying those things because I always get a text in like 4 days, and then I knew he listened.
Yes.
When he's mad at me, he did what I wanted him to. So
but he loves you because he's listening.
Yeah, exactly. So I led a parish mission last week, and it was the first I have done like one night parish missions. So those don't count. That's just giving a talk and like leading adoration or leading prayer or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this was the first time that like I led a full parish mission. Like the exhausting part, I didn't see this coming. I thought the like doing the parish mission was going to be the tiring part. It was getting up and being at every single mass and giving the same 2-minute invitation to come to the parish mission. Saturday night, 3 Sunday night. And then I talked to the youth group Sunday night, and then I gave the parish mission on Monday and Tuesday night. And it went very well, Nick. Like it just did. I was very happy with how it went. And one of the things that I talked about, I'm not going to give the whole talk, but this was a newer talk that I wrote a few months ago, and it was all about like finding renewal after a very difficult 2 years of just life. But a lot of people's faith took a hit over the last 2 years because life sucked. And so the middle story is all about the valley of the dry bones. You know this story, yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to walk through it, and I'm going to ask you some questions about it, and we're going to try to see if we can connect it to Lent, which should be easy because it's in a desert, and some rejuvenation and faith. And I'm going to read it like a lector at Mass. I'm just kidding. I'm going to read it like me. Okay.
Great.
The hand of the Lord came upon me. This is Ezekiel talking. The hand of the Lord came upon me, and he led me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me in the center of a broad valley. It was filled with bones. I feel like we gloss over that a lot. Like, what would you do if you were just like on a stroll in Pittsburgh and you were going up a hill? There's lots of those there, very steep ones. And then all of a sudden you get to the top of the hill and you're surrounded by bones.
I would start looking for the hyenas because I'm definitely in Lion King, and then like Scar's going to start singing his song. Exactly. I think that's a bad dream. Is.
Exactly. But not a great place to be. Not somewhere I would desire to be. Prepare for the cool of the century. I got it all stuck in my head now. As thick as you are, pay attention. My words are a matter of pride. Get it? Because I just talked about
one of
pride.
The best. It's one of the best evil villain songs, man.
Oh, he's so great. You won't get a lick without me. Okay.
Bum, 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 bum.
Dubstep version of Lion King. Okay. So the hand of the Lord came upon me, and he led me out in the spirit of the Lord. Does that sound similar to another reading we heard at the beginning of Lent?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? The Spirit led Jesus into the desert.
Right. The desert sucks, but who led Jesus there? The Spirit.
Yeah.
Who led Ezekiel into this valley of dry bones?
Same.
God, right? And so like I'm looking back, I'm reading this story. It wasn't originally supposed to be part of this talk, but the story came up. I was listening to one of the 8,000 dry bones songs that have come out in the last 2 years. Maybe there's a coincidence because everybody's like, everything's dry and sucky. I don't like it. When I started reading the story again, I hadn't read it in a long time, and I noticed that comparison. Like the Spirit is leading out, and it's like it has been a dry time spiritually for me and for a lot of people for the majority of the last 2 years, with a little oases here and there, but a pretty dry period. But I thought it was interesting that the Lord led them there. He made me walk among them in every direction. What a jerk, right? What if just picture like you're in Pittsburgh and I show up and you get over the crest of the hill and you see the bones and I'm the other person, like, okay, now go walk amongst them.
I'd be like, there's a perfectly good Subway over there. Do you want to get a meatball sub instead? Literally anything but this instead.
I'm going to let you recant your Subway comment. What's the only proper place to say that you're going to get a sub in Pittsburgh?
Oh, no, I was setting the bar low. You're getting at Permanis here, where you put the French fries and the coleslaw on the sandwich. Yeah. But like, I would even eat a terrible Subway.
Oh, I see. Okay, you did it on purpose. Like good
anything.
Save. Good save.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Yeah. So many lay on the surface of the valley. How dry they were. He asked me, Son of man, can these bones come back to life? And you, Nick Sciarappa, if you are Ezekiel in this story, which you have been as we've been talking through this, and if God said to you, I'm God in this scenario, just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you.
Son of man, can these bones come back to life? What would your answer be?
I would say, Son of man, look to the sky, lift your spirits, set them free. Only one day what's the Tarzan song? I'd probably break down to the Tarzan song. I'm going to try to do Disney for every answer. No, I would say that's impossible.
It's funny. You just quoted 2 different Disney movies.
I'm just trying to knock
Tarzan,
them all out.
one that I'm not familiar with. And you quoted Star Wars again, like you did earlier. That's impossible. Okay. Oh yes, Jesus. Here, back to God stuff. Okay. He is much smarter than both of us. I wouldn't have answered like this either. This is what Ezekiel says.
Okay.
God says, Son of man, can these bones come back to life? Ezekiel says, Lord God, you alone know that. I imagine Ezekiel being like, I'm pretty sure no.
It's like he's really good at riddles. Like in his free time, Ezekiel just tells riddles to people all the time.
Right.
That is a witty response, dude.
Right. What's brown and white and dead all over? All of these bones. So I think he's good because I think anybody reading this story, if you put yourself in Ezekiel's shoes, first of all, you're terrified. And second of all, you realize they're not shoes because this is 4,000 years ago. And then you also realize that like you probably wouldn't have reacted this way. It's a very smart response. He probably has a lot of doubt, but he's like, I'm going to trust you, but I'm not sure what's going on. So in the midst of that trust, but also saying yes, God then says, prophesy over these bones and say to them. Now, first of all, what do you think when you hear the word prophesy?
That is to speak a truth, I think, right? That's the
Yeah.
first thing I think. Yeah.
Very good. That's the correct thing. Most people think the first time it's like telling the future, like prophesying is future telling, right?
Oh yeah,
Because like
yeah, yeah.
like Jesus fulfilled all the prophets and all the prophecies or whatever. It's like no, like yes, they were things that were true about him, but he
Right.
wasn't like they weren't telling the future. They were just sharing truths that were true, and then they were just all fulfilled in Jesus, right?
Cool,
Um,
cool.
then he said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God to these bones, listen, I will make breath enter you so that you may come to life. I will put sinews on you, make flesh grow over you, cover you with skin, and put breath in you so that you may come to life. Then you shall know that I am the Lord. So I, Ezekiel, prophesied as I had been commanded. A sound started up as I was prophesying, rattling like thunder. The bones came together, bone joining to bone. As I watched, sinews appeared on them, flesh grew over them, skin covered them on top, but there was no breath in them. So, Nick,
Yes.
you're still Ezekiel at this point, right?
Uh-huh.
You had the witty response of like, only you know. And then God's like, yeah, but I want you to prophesy over them. And he tells you what to say. And then you say the thing, and then what happens?
And then I see a reverse of Indiana Jones, right? Where like the flesh starts coming back onto the skeletons.
Right.
Like, oh, that my imagination, no amount of CGI, I think could 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 show that. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Uh,
where did the ACLs and bones come from? Or like, like
yeah.
where did all the sinews come from? You know?
Like at the end times when all the cremated bodies miraculously come back together and ascend to heaven, is like that. I would be very afraid if I saw that happening. I would cower in fear.
Yeah, it's incredible, right?
Yeah,
Something incredible has already happened. Ezekiel's standing there, the shock factor of seeing the valley of the dry bones, and
yeah.
then being kind of not fully understanding what's going on, being like, I don't know, God, you know, what you brought me here, it's your fault, you know, like what do you
Hmm.
want? And then you say words, and then all of these bones start standing up, and they're standing in front of you, but it ends with there was no breath in them. So now it's even creepier than you think. It's just they're not alive, they're just cadavers now standing in front of you. Utterly terrifying. Now imagine being in that valley and there's just all these lifeless cadavers standing in
Ooh.
front of you. Utterly terrifying. And it says, because there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Son of man, say to the breath, thus says the Lord God, from the four winds come, O breath, and breathe into these slain, that they might come to life. I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath entered them, and they came to life and stood on their feet, a vast army. He said to me, son of man, these bones are the whole of the house of Israel. Okay, so now, like, what brought them actually to life? The breath,
The
right?
breath. Yeah.
It wasn't like the miracle had already happened, right? But then
Mhm.
the breath came into them. And so I started thinking like, oh, like just in history, this is how things work. Like in at the creation story, God formed Adam and Eve out of the ground, but they were cadavers, dirt clods, you know, and then
Mhm.
God breathed in them and then they had life.
Yeah.
Same thing with these dry bones. They were dead and there was already a miracle, but then they were still not alive, but then the breath needed to come in, right? So I feel like a lot of times we look at just how we do sacraments, the quote unquote normal way that we do it in America, not the restored order stuff. But like you are born. That is the miracle already. The
Yeah.
bones come out of nowhere. The flesh comes to flesh. Like it's literally just like the story. It just sounds less creepy when it's happening in a woman's womb than
Right. Right.
in a valley, right? Um, and so the miracle has already happened, but we are not fully the children of God until his breath, his life comes into us whenever we get baptized, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then we get it even further when the breath breathes on us in confirmation. So I'm thinking about this, and then I'm like, well, that's all well and good, but I feel like I was the dry bones for a long time
Oh.
in like when COVID hit, right? I was like,
Yeah.
my spiritual life is dead. My personal life is dead.
Mhm.
My work
Mhm.
life is dead. I think I might be dead. I'm not quite sure, right? And then
Right.
things start getting a little bit better. And I kind of feel like, okay, now I am this walking cadaver. I don't really
Mm.
feel like my life is back, but I'm able to work. I'm able to go through things, even faith wise. It's like, yeah, there's a God. I'm not doubting that anymore.
Sure.
That was a
Sure.
dark time, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like I still like what wasn't like fully to life. And what
Mhm.
changes all of that? the breath, the
Yeah.
Spirit of God, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so thoughts from you.
Wow. You talking about your COVID experience, it kind of reminds me of like, if you ask people from a different denomination of the faith, what's your conversion moment? They have one. And if you ask me, which one? Right. And so my mind goes to
You're
all
like
the
Snoop
little,
Dogg. I quit weed 72 times today.
exactly, except not exactly at all. Oh no, but like, I can count the times that the Lord has breathed, breathed,
Breathed. Yep.
breathed,
Yeah,
breathed on me, and like, oh my gosh, it was almost like he would breathe on me occasionally, a little bit, like a like a just a little through the pandemic to keep me
accidentally.
yeah.
Achoo!
Your breath is wet.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
just to
what
keep me
heaven meets earth,
through.
like a sloppy wet kiss. It was actually just
No,
a sneeze.
I prefer unforeseen
It wasn't
kiss. I just
unforeseen. The Old Testament was preparing us for this. Anyway, please keep going.
okay. But like, I guess it's a bit of everyone's experience. I'm glad you gave this talk
I am too. I got lots of
because
money for it. I mean, there was a lot of conversions from it.
oh, that'd be neat. Because I think some people are still waiting for their breath.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
and they just absolutely haven't had it. Like the last time you were super duper on fire and like everything started going well. Like for me, that was after this summer. I went on a mission trip for the first time in 2 years. We hadn't gone on a retreat in 2 years. And all the things about my job in youth ministry that I like, and I've done youth ministry for 7 years, I finally started to do again. And it was just like this. It's just like, Lord, I have this little cup and it's so empty and dry. And he's like, here's a waterfall.
Yeah.
Or like
a fire hydrant.
an air purifier breathing from Johnny's mouth. Yeah, like, and it's overwhelming, and it's exciting and it's good. And the weird things that bothered me pre-COVID, like liturgy, like I just love it when that old grandma soprano is singing with her terrible vibrato at mass. I love it. We're back. Like the Lord has breathed on me. So I've had that moment personally, and maybe many other times in little conversion moments. But like, ooh, how many? My thought goes to there's a lot of dead bones out there.
Yeah, for sure. And like, so like year one of COVID for me, like March to March was pretty much just like dry bones, just dead. Like just, it was such a dark time. Year two, I kind of started getting my life back. Like I had steady work and that was coming back, but like we still weren't really involved with church stuff. So I was kind of like a cadaver walking around, being able to edit podcasts and do podcasts, but like still not like fully to life, right? Like still a miracle. Like to go from the dark place that I was at to just being a cadaver was a miracle in and of itself. Like, you know, to be able to make it through that. But then it was December. It was like this Christmas break that I first felt, and I felt it for the most part since then, like kind of like that renewal, that breath coming back, where I'm starting to feel like myself again, and like
wonderful
things are coming back where I can be myself again, like, you know, like events and these sorts of things. It's like, these are the things that I, you know, am good at and supposed to be doing. And it's back. So like, I feel more fulfilled. I feel alive, like spiritually things are going better. Things are going better at the church. So the story continues after the whole house of Israel. They are saying, this is like the people of Israel saying, these bones are just like them. Our bones are dried up. Our hope is lost. We are cut off. Therefore, prophesy to them and say, thus says the Lord God, look, I'm going to open your graves. I will make you come up out of your graves, my people, and bring you back to the land of Israel. You shall know that I am the Lord when I open your graves and make you come out of them, my people. I will put my spirit in you that you may come to life, and I will settle in your land. Then you shall know that I am the Lord. I have spoken. I will do it. He's very repetitive towards the end. He's like, hey, I'm going to do this, right? And what, like, there's that line there of, I will put my spirit in you that you may come to life, and I will settle in your land. So if you're like me and Nick and you've been somewhere along this dry bones, or maybe you feel like a cadaver just kind of goes through life, or maybe you're on, you know, maybe you are come back to life. I think the same word for spirit and breath are the same word in the scriptures, right? So like invite, if you want to, like that new life, that breath, just invite the Spirit to come and renew you, and just see what happens, right? Because he's pretty confident that if you say it, if you prophesy and say these truths, he's like, I will do it and I will be there. So that's my encouragement for the day.
Oh, I love that. And if you're angry, do it angry. And if you're depressed, do it depressed. And if you're like the Lord is not afraid of your feels and your despair and your whatever. He doesn't judge you like people do. Uh, yeah, if you were still feeling dead and stuff, like if you felt like your bones were all dry, I'd be kind of mad after like 2-3 years.
Right.
Tell him. I mean, big daring prayer. He spoke I have nothing against big daring prayers. Like he spoke very confidently. So go for it. That's a great place to start, at least. Yeah.
For sure.
Those are good words of encouragement, Taylor. Yes.
Thank you. I love the angry Psalms. They're very fun for me. Yeah. And then old Isaiah, you duped me, O Lord, and I have been duped. You know? All right. Well, I duped you into this. Thank you for being my co-host today. Nick, this was fun.
It was so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back sometime. I'm Taylor. That is Nick Sciarappa, and I'll be back next week. See ya. Thank you guys for watching and listening to today's show. We hope that you enjoyed it. The other Sciarappa, the other white meat. We hope that you enjoyed our conversation together. If you did, please hit that subscribe button on your podcast, on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Forte Catholic, at Taylor Sherroll. Keep in touch with us. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing from you in our YouTube comments, on social media. Keep sharing the stuff. Y'all are the best. We grow because of you guys. Love you. I'll be back soon. Bye.